As I'm getting ready for my draft, how do I assess the risk of a player, the potential of a player in football, that one game a week? It's different than baseball with a guy taking 5 or 6 days off and coming back. What's the difference, in your opinion? And how do you generally assess the risk of a player, Jeff?
Well, it's much more important in football because you don't have the luxury of the disabled list like you do in baseball where you can stash a guy if he's hurt. So what you really have to do is you have to understand first that injuries are going to happen. There's nothing you can do to prevent an injury. If they were preventable, I wouldn't have a job and I wouldn't be here talking with you guys this morning. So fortunately they do happen, but you have to understand that you can protect yourself a little bit from what's going on. And the best way to start is really look at a guy's history. Everybody throws around that term injury prone or he's injury plagued. There's some truth to that, and you really have to start looking at his history and determining if he was just unlucky or if he's got a history of injuries that's going to plague him and likely to carry over to this season.
All right, so let's hammer that point. Unlucky versus injury prone. We got 3 guys here on the list, Tony Romo, Matt Stafford, and Tom Brady. And I'm curious why you have Tom Brady on this list, because he had an MVP season last year. He hasn't been injured a lot. So why is he either unlucky or injury prone?
Well, I put Tom Brady in the unlucky category. He had that ACL several years ago, completely off his track record. He's been a stalwart when it comes to being in the lineup and not missing. That ACL injury was pretty bad, but he bounced back quickly from it. He did have off-season surgery to repair a fracture in his foot, but that doesn't seem to be an issue. He's progressed really well. The lockout may have actually done good for him because he was able to spend some extra time in the boot and not really worry about rushing back out and being on his feet. I think Brady's going to be completely healthy going forward. I'm going to throw Romo in that same category as unlucky. He's been pretty solid since entering the Cowboys lineup several years ago, except he missed 11 games last year with a broken collarbone. So it's one of those things where I think those 2 guys are unlucky, and I think if you go forward, you can really see those as more of isolated incidences than trends. Unfortunately, a guy like Matthew Stafford, who's been in the league since 2009, has only played in 13 games in those years because he's missed some time to multiple injuries to his shoulder. He's got an AC joint problem, which is your acromioclavicular joint, and he's had multiple surgeries on that in back-to-back years, in 2009 and in 2010. So it's really going to be something that, he's a guy that's got great offensive weapons, but he's shown an inability to stay healthy, and I really think if you take him, the likelihood of him getting hurt is huge.
We let Brady go. I have a personal question, which I think is the type of dilemma a lot of people might have. I'm in 2 different leagues. One, a PPR league where the catches and the yards and the rush attempts all matter, and I don't know what my draft position is going to be. Actually, I do know because I competed for the championship, so I'll be near the end of the draft. So one of these guys won't be available. I have both Tom Brady and Michael Vick. And again, this is a PPR league, so Vick is even more valuable because any day he could get you 100 yards rushing. So who do I keep and why? I'm in New England. I know what Brady can do. But honestly, to be honest with you, I don't know if he's going to match the same season he had last year with 28 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. I'm leaning towards keeping Michael Vick because I don't think either one of them are going to be there when I pick at 12 or 13 or whatever it is. Who do I keep and why?
Vick's the higher-rated quarterback. His upside risk is the style of play, and Vick isn't protected by the rules that govern quarterbacks because he's an outside the pocket passer. In the pocket, you're fine. Guys like Brady are protected, but Vick's not, and all bets are off when you get out of that pocket. He's really prone to injury because the guys can hit him a little bit harder and at higher speeds. You saw that last year when he missed time with that rib injury. So I'd bump him down a little bit just because of the increased injury risk, but not below Brady. So I still think you got to go Vick, but understand that he's at an elevated injury risk, and you may want to have a solid backup behind him if you're going to make him your number 1 quarterback.